people join as well. Okay. All right. Hey, everyone. Jessiana Seville here from the Kidney RD. My website's kidneyrd.com, group of renal dietitians, and we are experts in renal nutrition, nutrition for preserving kidney health. And tonight, I want to talk about poop. I want to talk about the gut health, and why some stool testing can be really helpful for you, for some people, if they have chronic kidney disease. So, I'm going to back up just a little bit, and I totally lost my cheat sheet that was up here just a second ago. Hashtag real life right here. Oh, okay, where'd it go? Okay, here we go. All right, so here it is. Okay. When I do this, I have like my phone camera, I got this other camera, and it can get a little bit wild with also looking at my notes. Okay, so at the Kidney RD, we have a couple extra tools that we use to deep dive into helping people. Now, not everybody needs these tools. A lot of people can get really great results with a plant-focused diet. For PKD, we use a ketogenic, low oxalate diet, also plant-focused. But in the cases of autoimmune disease, or when people have idiopathic, or they don't know why their kidneys are failing, or when they have significant gut issues, it's actually surprising, not surprising to me, how many people come and do some strategy calls with us, and they have IBS, they have Crohn's disease, just significant gut problems, GERD, a lot of heartburn, and that's a really significant part when it comes to kidney disease. You cannot ignore the gut. It's really, really important. So I want to talk about one of the tools that we use, and yesterday I talked about the mediator release test. That's food sensitivity testing, a powerful tool. Basically, for me, was a game changer as a dietitian in the results I could get for people. And I want to talk about another tool that I feel like goes hand in hand with food sensitivity testing, and that is stool testing or gut mapping. Now, poop seems like a gross topic, but it's really, really an important thing to talk about. I worked with somebody once who was a computer analyst, and we were talking about stool testing. He's like, well, the poop is like the output. So the output tells us a lot of information, just like if I'm writing a computer program, I get output and that it tells me information. I says, exactly. Poop is the output from our body, and it gives us some really fantastic information about what's going on in our gut. Our gut is the house of our immune system. It's such a incredibly important part of our health. It impacts everything from our mental health to our kidney health to, you name it, skin health. The gut is tied with almost all of it. So we use stool testing. We use a test called GI Map. The lab that has created this, the science behind it, is Diagnostic Solutions. It's an FDA-approved stool test. We have the lab ship people a kit, comes in a box. They need to take a stool sample, and put it in a tube, and then it goes back to the lab. There can definitely be a lot of gross stories about that. I've had a lot of patients that just take this in stride, and they send me, some funny remarks afterwards. It's not as gross as it sounds, but it's so valuable. Now, when we are looking at GI Map, what we're looking at is for dysbiosis. We're looking for what's going on in the gut. I like to say that GI Map more or less gives us a picture of what's going on in your gut, from your stomach down to your down through your intestines. And it's going to be checking for a lot of different things. It checks for parasites, bacteria, fungi, inflammation markers. It can see what type of, how robust your digestive enzymes are and if that's working. And it does all of this by looking at what's in the stool. You have DNA markers that are tied with the different bacteria, tied with your parasites, and that can become a very important piece to look at, because bacteria drive so many things when it comes to inflammation. So if you have autoimmune, if you have IBS, which IBS is really a BS diagnosis, which is just like, we don't know. But if you have IBS, if you have other major gut conditions, doing a stool sample can give you some really, really enlightening answers. After we get the stool sample, we walk through a protocol, generally using kidney-safe herbs. We're really specific and careful about what we use to rebalance the gut. Some of that is removing bad stuff that's in there. Some of it is replenishing enzymes. Some of it is, getting good bacteria on board. But we look at all of those different pieces. And we use the GI map as a way for us to not guess, right? If people come to me with digestive symptoms, there's some proactive things we can do. We can try digestive enzymes. There's a lot of things you can do. But probiotics, prebiotics, things that you read on the internet. But we really prefer, especially when we're dealing with really significant gut issues, to test and not guess. That's where we use GI map. A couple things. The other reason that we are using GI map is because the treatment differs, right? It's not just about rebalancing bacteria. Someone who has a fungal overgrowth or a lot of candida in their gut, you treat that very differently than someone that has a parasite, for example. And the other thing is you can get a look at what's happening with the good bacteria, and if you have low levels of some important good bacteria, you can know what to feed them. Some bacteria really thrive on resistant starches. Other bacteria really thrive on butyrate. Some bacteria really thrive on foods, these dark red foods with resveratrol in them. And when we look at the good bacteria, we can get some ideas on how we can, really formulate a diet that's going to nourish your bacteria in the best way possible. All right, so who can benefit from GI map? Now, pretty much everyone can benefit from doing some gut work, but it is not a cheap intervention. People are going to pay upwards of $3,000 to $5,000 to walk through this testing and protocol and the diet changes with us. So we primarily are going to recommend this for people who have significant GI issues. Okay, sorry. My phone has an automatic, social media is out after 30 minutes, so it'll pause it. But we recommend it if you have major digestive issues. So if there's IBS, Crohn's, different issues like that, we're going to really recommend that you walk down this pathway so that we don't have to guess what's going on. The other times that I feel like it's really important is if it looks like there's some obvious inflammation. If people say, hey, I have a history of eczema, I have a history of bloating, I have a history of joint pain, and we're walking through food sensitivities, I really feel like food sensitivities just leaves you hanging, meaning you can get great results, but if you match it with a GI map, then you can actually figure out why your gut is leaky. That's why we like to do them together. I've had a couple cases where we walked through food sensitivities, we didn't get the results we wanted, and it's because there was something that was bigger and more powerful, I guess, in the gut. I don't know if that's the right way to say it, but changing our food all day long was not going to make a difference until we got rid of candida or until we got rid of X, Y, Z or whatever. So I do think that GI map goes really well with food sensitivity testing. Food sensitivity testing decreases inflammation. It can help with some healing, but GI map will tell you why you may have some food sensitivities, and then you can heal your gut, and that way your food sensitivities will also heal and you get back to having a regular, albeit healthier diet. So again, for us, it's a very specific population that we recommend this for, but it is an option. I remember we had one client that came to us, this is a quick story, and a lot of gut issues, and she said, I didn't tell my doctor about them. I didn't really want to go to a GI doctor. I've been there before. They didn't really have any good answers, and I just figured I was going to have to just live with this, and I didn't even know it was connected to my kidneys. And we worked on her gut first, and it ended up that it really, really made a huge difference, for her. And we didn't even focus on kidneys. She was 100% plant-based. We just focused on healing her gut. We saw that her kidney function came up and her life was way, way better. Her quality of life was better. She wasn't scared of her food. Her stomach didn't hurt all the time. It just made all the difference in the world. So as a quick recap, GI Map is a stool test that you can use to look at your gut, use some supplements, and it can make a huge difference. Does it matter for CKD? Absolutely. If you have an idiopathic diagnosis, if you have inflammation, if you have autoimmune, it can make an enormous difference and is really one of the core places you want to start. We use it to look at bacteria, fungi, inflammation in the gut, your enzymes, all of that can make a big, big difference. And then the last thing, who can benefit? Autoimmune, idiopathic, and anyone who's having major digestive issues. I did see a comment come down here, and see, I'm pausing while I'm talking because I saw this. It is such a great story. So thank you at Neff Nikki about your story about using gut health to heal your idiopathic autoimmune CKD. That is exactly why we use it, because there can be answers for every situation. I really think there can be. Anyways, that's all for today. If you found this helpful, if you were thinking about someone that you think this could be useful for, please share with them. If they're not on Instagram, not on Facebook, we are also recording on YouTube. You can grab the YouTube link and send to someone. We really want people to know that there is hope. There are things that you can do to preserve kidney function, that a kidney disease diagnosis does not mean a dialysis endpoint. You don't have to end up on dialysis. We're grateful for that being a life-saving therapy, but it shouldn't be the endpoint for everyone with kidney disease. The kidneys are just telling you that there's some things that you got to get right in your body. Anyways, that's all for today. Visit us at thekidneyrd.com and hope you all have a great night. Bye-bye.